Dear students of class 6, welcome to you all. I like to discuss today the topic first chapter in history, that is when, where and how. You know that in this topic we will discuss the timeline and its importance and what is history, why should we study history, and also the difference between the prehistory and history period, historical period, and so also we see that I like to discuss today times and dates in history, what was its importance, and moreover the impact of geography on history and sources for the study of history. Now we start from that in history the time is very important, timeline. We can see through the timeline the series of events according to its happening. A timeline is one way of depicting events of the past. Timeline shows at a glance a few major events which occurred in the past. So, timeline in history are very useful that occurred over the past. Suppose you know that the Indus Valley civilization was discovered 500 years back, or that is BC, and up to after that happened in the Chalcolithic age, and then we can see the development of the civilizations of India since then up to the medieval period. And I can say that in this way, suppose we can see the prehistoric period, that is the Paleolithic age, then Mesolithic age, then Neolithic age, then Copper and Stone age, that is Chalcolithic age. In this way, that is the gradual development of we can show you in the form of timeline. Now, what is history? Then you have a very common idea, and you can answer it very well, that history is the development of the past. It is a story of the past, story of human civilization. It is the story of man. We know that it is the gradual development of human civilization since time immemorial. It is actually the story of social, political and economic, religious, cultural development of man through the ages, to different periods. So it is actually, that is the definition of history. You can see that why do we learn history? What is the utility of it? We learn history due to various reasons. We have some common idea that we can learn, by reading history, we can learn about the battles, name of the kings and queens. That is true. But the most important thing is that not only we shall learn not only the names of the kings and battles, name of the queens, name of the different kingdoms, but also the life of the common people. You know that history, just I mentioned the gradual development. We know that we have seen the Egyptian civilization, we have heard about the Egyptian civilization, Indus Valley civilization, Mesopotamian civilization, and how the man discovered fire, how they invented fire, how they actually invented farming, agricultural, you see that the agriculture. Moreover, how they began to settle in a particular place gradually. Previously, man was actually a hunter. They used to roam from place to place, move from place to place in search of water, in search of animals. Gradually, they learned farming. They settled in a particular place. gradually also they domesticated animals, and they invented also wheel. The wheel brought about a great changes in the life of the early man. You know that we see that this is how we can learn that gradual development of human civilization since you know that the river valley civilization to the modern age. Modern age of, you see that it is the age of computer science, it is the age of computer science, it is the age of space. We are now going to space. We are now discovering this different areas of spaces. So this is how we see that so why do we learn history? We shall learn history to know about the ancient culture, ancient civilizations, ancient development of the people, how the people learned invented the fire, how they domesticated the animals, how they actually prepared the tools, particularly in the beginning they prepared the stone tools, then copper tools, copper and the bronze tools, and also stone tool, iron tools, etc. See that gradually we see that we can learn from the history that the great lives of great men, like you see that the Swami Dayananda Saraswati, Raja Ram Mohan Rai, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, Swami Vivekananda, Sri Ramakrishna Dev, and many other great men. We can see we can learn from history. We can learn about the great battles, like you see that the different battles, battle of whatever the Mahabharata, you know, Kurukshetra, battle of Kurukshetra, and also battle of Thermopylae, between the Greece and the Persians. Many battles were fought. So we can learn about the battle of Plassey, battle of the Boxer, and many other similar battles were held in the different times. So this is the battle. Is that the Battle of Waterloo, in which Napoleon was defeated. Battle of Waterloo, which was happened in 1914. So we can learn about the First World War from the history. First World War and Second World War, and how you see that the different countries of Europe were involved in the battle. Europe and Asia and Africa. So, and how the people are affected by the battle. And what we learned from the battle, that we should not indulge in, we should avoid this type of warfare for the blessing. So you see that so that the humanity or humankind may live happily or peacefully. So this is we can learn about the different kings and battle. You see that the different reigning period, the Gupta period, the Mauryan period. We see that particularly we have learned about the Ashoka, how Ashoka ruled over India, how he spread Buddhism. We can learn about the great personalities like Mahavir, like Gautam Buddha, how they see that moreover we can learn about the other great saints like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mirabai, Namdev, Tukaram, Guru Nanak, etc. So it is in this way that we can learn many things from history. So this is how we can also learn from history that how to avoid the battles, how to avoid the warfare. And you know that we have learned that gradually the UN or United Nations organizations is set up. It was set up for what purpose? To establish the peace and brotherhood among all the nations of world. You see that it would actually stop warfare among all the nations, all the countries of Europe, not only Europe, Africa, Asia, etc. So in this way, this is we learn from history. What is this difference between history and prehistory? Prehistory is the study of events that happened before humans learned to write. When human being, in the prehistorical period, they roamed from place to place. They are food gatherer. They collected fruits, roots, herbs, and hunted animals. They had no idea of writing. They did not know how to write. This period is known as prehistory. So, prehistory is the study of events that happened before humans learned to write. And what is historical period? The history actually is the written account of events of the past. When from when we have learnt when we have actually learnt art of writing. For example, in India, the Aryan Vedic age, the Aryan period. In the Vedic age, you know that the people began to learn, people began to write the Vedas, Vedic, that is why it is called Vedic period. The Rig Ved, Sam Ved, Yajur Ved, Atharva Ved. So, all this in this period we have got so many written information, that is why it is a historical period. But you know that the Indus Valley civilization, although we have got the written records, but it has not been deciphered. It has not been deciphered. The scholars could not read it out today, even today. Whatever it may be, then times and dates in history, very important, times and dates in history. In history, it is important to learn how to tell the dates of significant events. Usually, historians count the years forward or backward from the year in which Jesus Christ is believed to have been born. You know that it is said that the years which we count, it is called before the birth of Jesus Christ, it is called BCE, before the birth of Jesus Christ, and after the birth of Jesus Christ is called AD, Anno Domini, in the year of Christ, in the year of our Lord. It is a Latin word, Anno Domini. So, generally we see that I have shown you in the form of timeline that generally before the birth of Christ it was counted, it was backward, and after the birth of Jesus Christ it is counted forward. We know that 4 BC, after 4 BC the 3 BC, then 2 BC, 1 BC, that it is actually, and then from it is the birth of Jesus Christ we count, if we count it, suppose the 1 CE, Common Era, 2 CE, 3 CE, that is it was a counting forward, and it is in chronological order, 3 CE, 4 CE. So, we can see that the BC or AD, we can use the modern term that is called CE, that is Common Era, BC before Common Era, and CE Common Era. We can use it not present. So, previously we have called it BC before the birth of Jesus Christ, and also AD, Anno Domini, in the year of our Lord or Christ. Now, in actually dates or in times and dates, we can see that terms like the decade, century, millennium. It is very common, we commonly use it. Decades generally refers a period of 10 years. Century refers a span of 100 years. Millennium refers 1000 years. 1000 years, clear? So, it is the impact of geography on history. What was the impact of geography on history? We can see that geography and history are very closely related, and we can see that actually it has you know that geographical features of India had a great impact on history. For example, Himalayan region, it is a vast region situated in the north, and there are so many mountains and the valleys in the Himalayan region. There are passes also like the Gomal Pass, Khyber Pass, Bolan Pass. Through these passes came the invaders, came the merchants, came the travelers, and they came to India. They learned, you see that many travelers, invaders settled in India, they adopted Indian culture, and see that in this way, particularly see that not only the Himalayan region, but also we can see the northern plain. Northern plain is a very fertile tract of land. It is inundated by the rivers like the Ganga, Jamuna, Brahmaputra, Indus, etc. And it is very fertile land, and you see that the huge amount of crops are produced here. So, we can see the many important ruling dynasty. I mean, you see that the rulers ruled their dynasties, namely Gupta dynasty, Mauryan dynasty, you see that the Pushyavati dynasty, many other dynasties, many important dynasties ruled over here, over this northern plain. Similarly, I can say the Deccan Plateau, it is situated in the Deccan region. It is actually surrounded by the Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats mountains. It is very rugged region, Deccan Plateau. There are so many rivers originated. It is Krishna, I can say the Tapti or Tapi, Krishna. Also, if we go to the far south, the river Godavari, you can see that the Narmada was Godavari, Krishna, etc. So, and if we go far south, in the far south you can see that it is actually like the peninsular India. It is surrounded by oceans, surrounded by 3 oceans, Arabian Ocean, the Indian Ocean and Bay of Bengal. So, this area, the far south, that is called, you see that is actually surrounded by ports, harbors, the many rulers of the South India, many kingdoms, namely the Cholo kingdoms and many Chero kingdoms, Pandas, particularly I am telling about the Cholo kingdoms, flourished much. They established naval bases. They also, you see that they established colonies in far off regions, namely you see that the Southeast Asia, namely Java, Sumatra, Bali, Borneo, these are the islands. It is called, it was very ancient name, Java, Sumatra, Bali, Borneo, where so you see that the many Indian dynasties were set up there, and the Indian cultures, Indian civilizations spread in the far off region, like the Bali, in Java, say that that in Indonesia, where we can find the Borobudur Buddhist too. If you visit the Cambodia, Kampuchea, you will find the traces of Indian culture and civilization, namely the Angkor Wat Vishnu temple. So, this is how we see that the geography had a great impact on Indian history. Similarly, the sources for the study of history. There are so many sources like archaeological sources, and you see that the literary sources and travelers' accounts. So, about the sources I like to discuss it later, because I am could not do the board work. However, I am just making a gist. Archaeological sources are generally coins. You know that we can discuss about the coins. We can inscriptions. We have inscriptions. We have coins. We have actually monuments. Similarly, you can see I can discuss about the literary sources, secular literature, religious literature, biographical literature, and besides we can see another important thing is that we see that the most important thing is the travelers' account. Many travelers visited India. I can see that we can see that many travelers came here, namely the Fayan came during the Gupta period, Yuan Sang came during the reign of the Harshavardhan, and also Megasthenes, also a Greek ambassador, a Greek traveler came to India during the period Chandragupta Maurya. He wrote a book called Indica. Fayan wrote a book Fuokuoki, and Yuan Sang wrote another important book Siyuki. So, these are the important sources of information. So, archaeological sources are very important in history. We have this is the thing, and if necessary I will rediscuss it again. Thank you boys. I think that if you have any problem, if you have a doubt, you will ask me in the next class. Thank you all.